Welcome to Review Set Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Yourself?
I am doing very, very well. Thank you very much. Blair, you went and saw Speak No Evil? Is that what it's called?
Indeed. I did.
How was it?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Finally, a Blumhouse movie that I enjoyed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you've enjoyed Blumhouse movies before.
To an extent. Yeah. They've made some good movies, but
big fan of Pool Night or Pool Party in the Night, whatever that one was called.
Pool Party in
Swim
the
Night. Pool Party in the Night.
Night Swim, I think it was what it was called.
The tagline, don't forget the floaties.
You know what? I watched that twice because I saw that in theaters and at home, and I actually enjoyed it better at home the second time around. But not a good movie in general.
This one was.
Yeah,
Speak No Evil. Man. Speak No Evil. Okay.
James McAvoy was fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, underrated actor in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean he's great in Split. He's great as Professor X in the X-Men series.
Yep.
He's a pretty good actor, man. Really good performance in this movie.
This is one that they've done a really good job with getting the movie out there too. I feel like we've been seeing trailers for it for a while, so it's nice to finally see it out. Yeah,
really good movie, man.
Awesome. Well, hopefully I don't know how you feel about this one, but hopefully we'll be speaking about another good movie tonight. We are on to our third episode of the month of September, aka Stephen King month. And we have a wild one to chat about today. But before we do that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news? This is horror news. Blairski, you got some horror news?
Yeah, well, the very first thing I've written here is to talk to you about Speak No Evil. We already did that. Very good movie, and I suggest you definitely check it out.
Excellent, will do.
The only other piece of horror news I have is Call of Duty Haunting Event for Halloween is coming September 18th. So if you're a player of Call of Duty, this year they are releasing some pretty cool characters you can play as for Halloween, including Mike Myers, Sam from Trick or Treat, Art the Clown, and even characters from the Smile franchise. Just characters with the crazy smile on their face.
Yeah.
I'll be playing the shit out of it while I wait for Phasmophobia, Jesse.
Well, you might be playing it for quite some time.
That's another thing I should probably mention. Apparently, Phasmophobia is coming out finally for consoles in October at some point. There's no
they have said that set to be released during their upcoming in-game Halloween event, which could mean anything. I mean, the upcoming in-game Halloween event, to my knowledge, does not have a release date.
No.
What that actually means, we don't know. But
from history, it's usually like mid-October,
which would be great. I mean, I've been ready to play Phasmophobia on console for I don't even know how long. For years.
Yeah.
Bring it on. We're ready for it. No more delays. Let's just give us the game.
So me and Jesse can stream it.
Yes, please. I have one more piece of horror news. We finally have a release date for the newest adaptation of Stephen King's Salem's Lot. And we don't have to wait much longer, Blairski. No. Premiering exclusively on Max, aka HBO, aka HBO Max, aka Max. We will finally see Salem's Lot released this October 3rd, just a couple of weeks away.
Yeah. You know what? I have not seen the original movie.
Okay. Toby Hooper directed it.
Oh, did he? Right on. I gotta watch it then.
Absolutely. I actually think that was the first movie he directed. I could be wrong, but I feel like that was the first movie he directed after the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's pretty cool.
I could be wrong, but I think that's it.
Yeah, I've yet to watch it. I own the book and I have yet to read it.
Vampires.
Yeah.
And they don't glitter. I don't think they glitter.
That's quite.
But it'll be a good one. I'm happy with the release date. I'm happy it's October. Something scary to look forward to. And Stephen King has stated, I've seen the new Salem's Lot, and it's quite good.
All right, Stephen King.
It's kind of like an underwhelming as far as like Stephen King praises go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of found that to be a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite good. That's it.
Yeah, usually he goes on and on about, other people's works, and he's a huge supporter for up and coming writers and all that stuff. So maybe he's just being humble on his own work, but
let's hope.
or maybe it's just quite good.
Yeah, maybe it's quite good.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all I have. What do you say we jump into this week's episode?
Yeah,
The
man.
third episode of the month of September, aka Stephen King month, goes to 1984's Children of the Corn. Runtime on this one, 1 hour, 32 minutes. Blairski. Initial thoughts on the runtime, please.
Right in the wheelhouse, as we like to say.
Yeah, I feel like we've been getting a little bit greedy. We've been asking for shorter runtimes. And shorter runtime movies don't always seem to feel shorter.
No.
Sometimes they feel a little bit longer. We'll get into it, though.
Yes,
We're not
we
there
will.
yet. We'll get into that. Before we do that, let's talk about some fun facts.
Fun facts. Facts that are fun.
Blairski, what do you got for fun facts?
Actor Courtney Gaines won the role of is that Malachi?
Malachi.
Thank you. Won the role of Malachi by using a prop knife to hold a casting assistant hostage during rehearsal or like for the audition, which is wild. On top of that, his own parents were greatly unnerved by watching him in this movie.
I mean, rightfully so. Malachi, creepy character.
Yeah,
And I
very
mean, if
creepy.
anyone is gutsy or stupid enough to hold a casting agent hostage, just give him the role. Give him the role. You can have it. You can have it.
It
Oh,
worked for
man.
sure. Man, I only got one more fun fact, and that is because of seasonal changes during filming,
Mm.
corn stalks had to be propped up and painted green to appear like they were living plants.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew this movie had struggled with budgetary things. So
Yeah.
perhaps that's the reason why it ran so long. I've got quite a few fun facts here. The movie has spawned more sequels than any other Stephen King movie
Okay.
or any other Stephen King book, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Kinda
how
cool.
many of them?
Trying to think. I think there's
I know one just came out.
4 or 5. Because there's this one, there's Children of the Corn 2. I believe there's one called Children of the Corn 666. There's, of course, the newest one. There's one from 2014, I think.
Is there Children of the Corn in space yet?
Not yet. Children of the Corn go to hell.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The Revenge of the Corn. One day.
Yeah,
We're sitting on a gold mine here.
Yeah.
John Franklin, who played Isaac, was actually 24 years old at the time of filming.
That answers
And-
a lot. That answers a lot.
Creepy character. John Franklin was great as Isaac.
Yeah, he was.
The character of Joby and Sarah were created for the movie and not in the original story, in the
Yeah.
original short story. And then finally, in the original short story, the character Isaac was named William and Malachi was named Craig. I'm going to tell you right now, there is nothing menacing about the name Craig
Or a William.
or William.
Yeah.
I mean, William, there's a little bit of mystery behind it. Malachi, I mean, a ton of mystery behind it. Scary
Yeah.
name. But Craig, I mean, that's, yeah, I don't know. That's somebody you play Mario Kart with. Craig is just there to, shoot the shit, have a good time.
Pass me the nachos, Craig.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about the fine folks who worked on Children of the Corn, directed by Fritz Kirsch. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I apologize, Fritz. Also directed 1985's Tough Tough, 1987's Winner Takes All, and 1991's Into the Sun. Blairski, have you seen 1985's Tough Tough?
I haven't seen any of those movies you just named.
Well, you are missing out.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Nope. But
Nope.
let's move along. This one written, of course, by Stephen King. Not much more needs to be said about this, besides the fact that I think the budget was cut majorly in half to keep Stephen King happy by giving him a ton of money to put this on the big screen.
Yeah, makes sense.
Also written by George Goldsmith, wrote 1987's Blue Monkey, 1987's Hot Child in the City, and the 1994 Sega Genesis video game Midnight Raiders. Blairski, did you have a Sega Genesis growing up?
I didn't. I was a Nintendo guy.
Okay.
I was a Nintendo guy.
Okay. I remember I didn't have one, but a friend of mine had a Sega Genesis, and I remember the game Battletoads.
Yeah, Battletoads. I actually have Battletoads on my Xbox.
Great game.
Yeah, it is.
You're a bunch of toads riding motorcycles. It was cool.
It was very cool.
Very,
That's a
very
great
cool.
word for it.
That and it was
Well, obviously,
Street Fighters, of course.
Street Fighter
Fighters.
and Sonic the Hedgehog was
Sonic was big. Street Fighter 2 was the big one. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. Okay, enough about Sega Genesis. Children of the Corn, starring Peter Horton as Bert, also starred in 1987's Amazon Woman on the Moon, 1995's The Babysitter's Club, 22 episodes of The Gina Davis Show. I didn't know Gina Davis had her own TV show.
Me neither.
There you have it. I also executive produced 56 episodes of Grey's Anatomy and 88 episodes of New Amsterdam. He is keeping those fake doctors in business.
Yes, he is.
Also starring the legendary Linda Hamilton as Vicky. Need I say more? I will say more. Starred as Sarah Connor in The Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and in 1997's Dante's Peak. Unreal.
Yeah,
Linda Hamilton.
she's great. She's absolutely great.
Starring John Franklin as Isaac, starred in 1991's The Addams Family and Addams Family Values as, can you guess?
The Thing,
Cousin It.
Cousinette. Okay.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I didn't know that.
No,
Pretty
me
awesome.
neither.
Also starred in Tammy and the T-Rex and 1994's Tower of Terror, which the Disneyland ride was based off of.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Pretty cool.
That is cool.
And then finally, Courtney Gaines as Malachi, also starred in 1985's Back to the Future, 1989's The Burbs, 2002's Sweet Home Alabama, and as the video store clerk in an episode of Seinfeld where George is returning a copy of Rochelle, a young girl's strange erotic journey from Milan to Minsk, which he did not rewind. And he was going to charge George $90-some, and George decided to keep it and bring it back later. There you have it.
Dude.
Synopsis for Children of the Corn, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. A young couple is trapped in a remote town where a dangerous religious cult of children believes that everyone over the age of 18 must be killed.
All right. I'm
It's
okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Corn wasn't mentioned once. Children were mentioned, but no corn. We'll get into that soon. But
There's
before
a
we
lot
do
of
that,
corn in this movie.
tons of it. But before we talk about the corn, what do you say we talk about kill count?
Kill count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, we got a kill count for Children of the Corn.
I do indeed.
Get your earmuffs on.
Yeah, I had to. Sorry about that. Jess had to plug my headphones in. They're dying here. I'm going to go with a kill count of 14 human kills plus
Whoa.
an unfortunate dog death, which is what I counted while I was watching the movie.
Yep.
Every adult in the town gets murdered, so who knows? But yeah, 14.
Yeah, and a lot of those kills happen within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, but all we see is what happens in the one store, really.
Yeah, a lot of this. You know what? This is a great segue. Likes and dislikes.
Likes, dislikes, likes,
dislikes, and everything in between. The portion of the show where we chat about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. You made a very good point. You said we don't see a whole lot of it. So a lot of these deaths, although bloody and although committed by children, a lot of them are just implied violence.
Yeah. Yeah. You
We
don't
just
see it.
you see the blood, you see the kids holding the weapons. Besides young Joseph being hit by a car,
Yeah.
it's pretty tame.
That's the only thing you really see is Joseph getting hit by the car.
Yeah, and which is brutal. I mean,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
brutal.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how the remakes hold in comparison, especially for that first scene, which could be extremely well. It is brutal. We just don't see much of it. But the diner scene.
The one I just saw, the newest Children of the Corn, which I actually like better, is absolutely nothing like this movie, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's not even close. I don't think it's even really like the book. I think it's just kind of a different take on the story.
Yeah.
But I liked it better. And throughout the movie, it's kind of a build up to the adults getting killed.
Gotcha.
It doesn't happen right at the beginning like this movie does. The whole movie is a build up to the kids kind of creating their cult and ridding the adults.
Gotcha. So I'm wondering if it's more of a based on a story because I don't know the short story.
Me neither.
Clearly, this movie suffers from a small budget.
Hmm.
And like kind of those restrictions. So there's a lot of talk about the blue man, and it's towards the end. And I still don't know who the blue man is. But clearly in the short story, the blue man is a prevalent character.
In the movie, I just picked up that the blue man was a cop. It looked
Was
like
a cop.
Yeah, it was a cop.
But even towards the end, the kids are pulling out, Bible verses that the blue man was in there investigating. And it is clearly a character that, like I was saying, is a little bit more developed in the book than he is in the movie. But I feel like they just kind of ran out of money, and maybe that's where this movie fell flat.
Well, I'll tell you another area they ran out of money in, and that's in the CGI.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesse. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesse. We say it over and over again how much we hate CGI. But if
Yeah.
you got to have CGI, make it somewhat decent. This is very, very bad CGI.
Yeah, I heard the description for who is it? He who walks behind, he who walks amongst the corn, he who walks.
No, I don't think
He who walks.
I know what you're talking about. It's he who
The
walks something
creature
or other. Yeah,
itself, and
yeah.
it is one of those things where it's like if you're going to show it, show it, or if you're not going to show it, don't show it. But if you are going to show it, make sure it's badass because this is just green screen.
It was
And
horrible.
it's just, it looks like you have static on your TV.
When it was moving under the ground, kind of like it reminded me of Tremors a little bit.
Yeah.
They could have just left it at that. I was cool with that. Just
Yeah.
the ground moving. I didn't
Give
need
us
to see all
something because there's nothing terrifying about squiggly lines.
No.
Although the explosion at the end with the cartoon skeleton face in the explosion,
Yeah.
something else, man.
Yeah.
Something else. I don't know. There's a lot that this movie suffers from. It's weird because it is such a short runtime, but it does feel long. It feels like there's a lot of nothingness going on.
It seems to take forever for the two characters like Bert and Linda
Vicky.
Hamilton and Vicky.
Yeah.
It seems to take them forever to even get to the town in the first place.
Yeah, they keep making wrong turns. And it's also, I don't really care about those characters.
No, me neither. I didn't care about any characters except the two kids, maybe. If anybody, the two kids.
Who, again, weren't even in the short story.
Yeah, so they were just made up for the movie.
And I thought Isaac and I thought Malachi were great. I thought they were both menacing. I thought the performances were very over the top.
Very over the top.
I think that fits with the MO of the characters of being these kind of religious fanatics, who are on that verge of doing anything for what they believe in, which it fits. I mean, Isaac and Malachi, great characters. I just felt like there was so much left unanswered, so much that was vague about this,
Yeah.
But, and again, maybe it was just because of the small budget. Maybe it was the runtime. It felt a little bit made for TV, Blair.
It did. And what about the music? The score of this? It had like chanting and shit. It kind of reminded me of something that should be on Lord of the Rings or
Man, I didn't necessarily hate it. I thought
there, but it was just, it seemed, I don't know, it kind of seemed out of place a bit.
there was definitely moments where they went full 80s, but then there was other moments where, like you were saying, there was chanting. It was like done with a children's choir,
Mhm.
which children's choirs are always creepy.
Yes, they are.
So I thought it was kind of haunting, menacing, mysterious, everything you want in a Stephen King adaptation.
All those things.
All those things. But then you see this group of children hiding in the corn, and none of them are overly menacing.
No.
They're just there to, be an extra in a cool movie. But it would have been cool if they would have done so. And there is moments where they're chanting and doing their thing, but I don't know.
There's a scene where their kids were trying to get Bert. Bert was kind of running after all these kids, and I just can't help but think like just punt that kid. Like,
Yeah, you're a grown man.
you're a grown man. These are children. Oh man.
Underwhelming, I think, is like a good way to put it. It's underwhelming. But then again, who knows? I might have hated it even more if I would have read the short story.
Do you know what that set reminded me of? Like the town. It reminded me of the same little town the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre takes place in.
I could see that, just the kind of the single row of
The
buildings.
single row of building. It had all the parking stalls along the side. I'm wondering if it was the same set. Honestly, I have no idea.
Who knows? Do you know what this set reminded me of?
What?
Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Baseball. If you build it, they will make a Stephen King movie. Yeah, I don't know. I more or less, I didn't find it to be overly scary. Again, budget cuts. I'm assuming I would have loved to have seen the monster. I think it would have been a lot cooler.
And maybe show some of the kills.
Yeah, give us something, just a little taste. We don't want much. We just want a little taste.
A little taste.
I also thought the ending was extremely abrupt.
Man, I have that written down as my last thing. Not a fan of the ending of this movie.
No, it's so weird. I mean, we're coming off of two great endings from Misery last episode and The Mist, which, is a gut-wrenching, kind of ironic ending. And then there's this one, which they kind of try and do the Friday the 13th part 1 fake out.
Yeah.
And then they kidnap, 2 orphan children, and away they go.
Start walking away from the car and the credits roll.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there is still a dead child in the trunk of their car.
Yes.
How is that not priority 1, people? It's like, great, you're one big happy family minus that dead body in the back of your car.
Oh, there's dead bodies all over the place.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. I've seen this before. I've only ever seen it once before.
Yeah, same here.
And I feel like, I'm trying to remember, it was maybe 10 years ago I watched it. And I feel like I felt like it was a what the hell kind of moment.
At the end of the movie,
what was
at the
that?
ending? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to feel. I didn't know if I was supposed to be scared or unsettled. Again, anytime you kind of got that, hard-nosed religious fanatics, and especially when it's coming from a child, things get creepy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It was fine. It was okay. It was an hour and 32 minutes.
That's what it was.
Oh gosh. It had green screen. What else can we say? I've got nothing more I liked about it, didn't like about it, anything in between. What do you say we move right along?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm just checking here. I've got nothing else to say.
Okay, let's move along to our next favorite segment, lessons we learned from watching 1984's Children of the Corn.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The segment of the show where we chat or talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie Blairski. Did you learn a single thing from watching Children of the Corn?
Not really.
Okay.
I learned that although delicious to eat, corn is not easy to grow and requires hard work, dedication, patience, the right environment, and frequent human sacrifices
Yeah.
of anyone above the age of 18 in order for a successful harvest.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Good
the only
point.
thing I learned about this movie.
That note, I did forget about something in likes and dislikes. There was one moment where they used practical effects, and it was when Bert was being attacked by the rows of corn, which I thought was pretty hysterical.
That's awesome.
Anyways, back to lessons we learned. I learned a few here. There is no room in heaven for college graduates or people who watch public television. Bert's words, not mine.
Yeah.
Blood starts to coagulate in 4 minutes.
Mhm.
Not bad. Also, word of the day, coagulate.
Yeah, coagulate.
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 Kids nowadays spend way too much time cooped up inside. Back in the good old days, kids would run around outside, climb fences, scrape their knees, start maze-based religious cults, proper kids things. And now they're cooped up watching their YouTube.
Yeah. And playing their TikToks.
Absolutely. I also learned don't threaten corn because corn will fight back.
Great band, too.
Ooh,
That's not corn.
Isn't it? Anyways.
I think that was Disturbed, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I have one more here. When someone says it must have been the wind, it never is just the wind.
No.
No. It's usually something a lot more vicious. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, moving on to our next segment of the show, Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites, Blairski. What do you got for Line of the Night?
Again, I found it difficult finding some good lines in this movie. There's not too much in the dialogue. It's a lot of extreme preaching by Isaac and Malachi. If anything, I have a quote by Isaac. And it's when he was trying to get the kids to turn on Malachi. He says, the Lord has chosen me as his bringer of his word and the giver of his laws. Disobedience to me is disobedience to him. Do it now, or your punishment shall be 1,000 deaths, each more horrible than the last. Now, mind you, this is supposed to be like a 9-year-old kid.
Yeah. Hey, man, word of God.
Yeah, word of God. Or not really the word of God, word of corn monster.
Word of corn. Wild. I could have sworn I wrote down what they call the corn monster. He who something,
It's
something,
he who
something.
walks, and then it's something, but there's not corn. The word corn is not in it. He who walks.
I don't even know if it's walks. He who stands behind the rows or something like that. I'm sorry. I've got a couple lines here.
Okay.
First off, from Bert, he says, "Don't ever show up in my emergency room, buddy."
Yeah.
That's when they talk with the gentleman at the gas station. I've got a couple chants from the kids. They say, "The blue man." Yes, the blue man. I've got another one from the kids. They say, "Praise God, praise the Lord."
Yeah, they say that a lot.
I've got one from Vicky, which is my favorite line of the movie when she says, "What is with this corn?" Fair answer.
Yeah.
Fair question.
Fair question.
And then finally, one from Joby, who is just being a smart-ass kid. When he tells Bert how to throw a Molotov cocktail, he says, Throw it right this time. As if Joby has ever thrown a Molotov cocktail
Right.
before. Throw it right this time. This leads us to our final segment of the show. Some might even say it is our favorite.
Tonight it is.
Blair and I
Tonight
have
it's mine.
discussed about it. We've discussed it. It's his favorite tonight.
Yep.
I think in general, it is on the Mount Rushmore.
It's there. It is there.
It is. Celebrity lookalike time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle, Blairski.
Yeah, buddy.
What do you have for celebrity lookalike time?
I only got one. Well, I guess we'll call it two. But when I first saw Isaac peering through the window of that coffee shop at the beginning of the movie, I
Yeah.
thought, hey, that little creep looks like Darth Vader when he takes his mask off at the end of The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, God.
And on that note, I kind of thought Bert looked a little bit like Han Solo.
Like Han Solo.
Yeah.
Okay. Harrison Ford himself.
Yeah, a couple Star Wars references there, but
Rock and roll.
it made sense when you said the actor who played Isaac was in his 20s, because I was like, that's an old man. That's an old face.
Yeah, an old soul, if
It's
you
an
will.
old soul. Yeah, like that was. I was like, that's not a child's face. There's no way.
There's no way. Okay, I thought Vicky reminded me of Kirstie Alley
Yeah,
from Cheers.
yeah,
And then I thought the kid Joseph, who tries to escape at the beginning, reminded me of a young Paul Rudd, or just Paul Rudd.
yeah. Paul Rudd.
He looked
He
like
doesn't
Paul
age.
Rudd as a child, and I'm sure Paul Rudd as a child looked like Paul Rudd when he's in his 50s.
Yeah, I was
So
about to say he doesn't age. That guy.
not even a little bit. Yeah. Okay, this leads us to our final rating for the Children of the Corn. Blairski, out of 5 corn-crazed kids, what are you giving Children of the Corn?
I'm going to give it 2 corn-crazed kids out of 5.
I agree. I'm giving it 2 corn-crazed kids out of 5. This movie suffered from a low budget,
Mhm.
and the source material was too much for its hour and 32-minute runtime.
Yeah, yeah, and it didn't show enough. We didn't get enough.
No, who the hell is the Blue Man? Who is the Blue Man?
And why
What is
the
with all
corn
this
mon-
corn?
And why is the corn monster just a bunch of squiggly lines?
You're not fooling anyone. I know that's green screen. Anyways, I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Me too.
I've officially seen this Stephen King adaptation more times than other more palatable Stephen
Yeah.
King adaptations.
Time to give it a
Kinda
break.
sad.
Time to give
Kinda
it a
sad.
break. We got a big one next episode.
Yeah,
man.
we do. A little hint. We got ourselves a 2-parter coming up.
Yes, we do.
Excited
Yes,
for it.
We do.
Excited for it. But before then, until then, this has been Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Reviews That Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/reviewsthatscare. That's linktr.ee/reviewsthatscare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsthatscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich. A proud member of Pod Nation TV.